Hi, I'm Josh Hickson, and this is my persuasive speech Money for Nothing. I've watched enough movies to understand that subtle advertising in films and TV is growing. Movies are made with more and more violent and sexual content, and this is happening because the Motion Picture Association, who produces the whole of Hollywood films, are wholly corrupt. What do I mean by this? Well, I think that the Motion Picture Association are using business practices in order to sell products and ideas and films to hundreds of millions of people across the earth. And in the process, they are exposing people to something that can be dangerously influential. I think that this problem needs to be made aware of to the general public, and I think that the Motion Picture Association needs to be reformed in order to truly restore creative freedom to the US film industry. And before we start, look, I'm just a film student. I'm not a credible lobbyist, a Disney rep, or a Hollywood producer, so I'll tell you the truth. Most films exist to make money. So, what are you really going to learn while I'm rambling? Bear with me. First, I will talk about how much money blockbusters make and how they affect society over time. Then, I will talk about the source of this problem, the Motion Picture Association. After that, I'll tell you a few easy questions you can ask yourself when watching a movie in order to spot ads, as well as a few questions you can ask yourself before choosing a movie to watch. So let's get to the problem. Modern Hollywood films advertise more than they entertain. Ever since industry practices were set in place, advertising takes the lead role too many times to count, and creativity has been twisted into marketability. This has caused modern storytelling to degrade. Why? A film with a large budget only makes money by being slowly auctioned off to different companies in the form of product placement and brand name mentions. So let's take a look at some of the highest grossing movies worldwide and how they made money. Disney's investment in Lucasfilm has finally paid off with the addition of a Star Wars land inside Disney World Orlando, as well as the merchandising opportunity of a lifetime thanks to its established fame. Star Wars The Force Awakens was Disney's first production, and it garnered 2 billion USD in box office revenue. It is the highest grossing film of all time in North America, not accounting for inflation, as the Hollywood Reporter mentioned in a 2016 article. The outcome? A new generation of children have been exposed to the Star Wars cinematic universe on a silver screen. It's a great marketing opportunity for toys, video games, and clothing. What's interesting is that John Boyega's character wasn't displayed on the movie's Chinese posters. This is because Disney was aware of China's extreme racism towards black people, and they knew that more people would watch the movie if they didn't see John Boyega on the poster. It was disgusting to discover this, but it's true. Disney also filmed a large part of their live-action Mulan in Xinjiang, and thanked the department of the CPC Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region Committee in the credits. The movie still did okay, though. Advertising products aside, keep in mind that these films have the ability to shape the idea of what the US looks like from the outside. Our blockbusters dominate the world. With this in mind, it's more than likely that advertising in Hollywood films extends to advertising societal philosophies or pop culture opinions. This can influence people's life choices even more so than an advertisement ever could. Remember what Top Gun did to the Navy? When it opened in the US, Navy recruiting booths were set up in cinemas in order to encourage moviegoers to enlist after watching the film, according to The Guardian in 2001. The number of young men who joined wanting to be naval aviators went up by 500% according to the Navy, according to Operation Hollywood, How the Pentagon Shapes and Censors the Movies. It was written in 2004 by David L. Roth. Ray-Ban aviator sunglasses sales went up 40% according to Time magazine. So what's the cause here? Well, the MPA is a corporate monopoly. So let's review historically. The root of these problems is structural by a landslide. How so? Well, it all started with the establishment of a trade and business association called the Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America. When the MPPDA was founded in 1922, it consisted of several motion picture companies. These companies produced 75% of the films that were made in the US at the time. This was mentioned by a New York Times article that was written in 1922 called Ultimatum by Hayes to Purify Movies. Today, the Motion Picture Association consists of 5 major companies: Walt Disney Studios, Warner Media, NBC Universal, Sony Pictures, and Viacom CBS. These 5 companies dominate the US film industry, as well as the TV industry. Its content has worldwide appeal, with online streaming at an all-time high. So the questions lie. What caused the film industry to walk down this path of corporate partnership? How has it affected societal norms in the US and the world? And where is its future leading it? So, when the MPPDA was first founded, only state and municipal laws required movies to be censored. This was mentioned in Hollywood Censored, Morality Codes, Catholics, and the Movies, written by Gregory D. Black and published by the Press Syndicate of the University of Cambridge. This allowed Hollywood to create movies that were immoral and controversial enough to make the MPPDA to start worrying that the US government would get involved. In 1927, the Production Code was established. It was called the MPPC. By 1934, films made under the MPPDA had to receive a seal of approval before being released. In 1968, the MPPC was abandoned and a new rating system was set in place. The system was much more lenient in order to accommodate all of the uncensored content that was being produced outside of the MPPDA. This led to the films produced in the MPPDA after this rating system to show some of the most vile and disturbing content seen yet, because it was now profitable. So, what's the result of all this? Well, the US was quickly desensitized to violent and sexual content, and it shows. Why? It sold. The Exorcist, a film released in 1973, is a great example of this. It graphically depicts a 12-year-old girl masturbating with a crucifix and screaming, "Let Jesus F you," with blood everywhere. It was arguably the most successful horror movie of all time. Now, you can say that it's legal to make and sell this kind of stuff, and, well, I'll agree with you. But the question must be raised. Is it moral? I can't say yes with good conscience. So, what's the solution for now? We need to become more aware of what we watch. What's happening today? The MPA rating system is increasingly allowing violence and sexual content to be present in films with the same rating. A study published in 2004 by the Harvard School of Public Health concluded that there was a measurable increase in violence, sex, and profanity in movies across the decade of 1992 to 2003. There should be no doubt that this is continuing to happen. How can this problem be solved if it has already been out of control for several decades? Well, the only control that you can have on this is in the decisions that you make when you decide to watch a movie. So, to help yourself and your family understand if the movie you're watching is using propaganda or fallacies to sell ideas or products, you can ask yourself these easy questions. So, all these questions help you realize when movies are trying to sell you a product or a life decision, but none of them are a magic bullet. Morality doesn't have a plain definition, but you can usually tell if what you're watching is immoral based on how it makes you feel. If the movie you decided to watch is so bad that it feels immoral to let it keep playing, it's probably best to turn the TV off. When you're choosing a movie to put on, you can ask yourself these questions in order to find something you know you will enjoy. Look, there's no reason not to watch a bad movie, but there is a right and a wrong way to watch one. Because of this, you can watch too many bad movies the wrong way, and so can your children. Monkey see, monkey do. Well, it was a long journey, but I hope I was able to convince you that there is more to the film industry than what the eyes can see. Hidden propaganda and fallacies in film and television can be dangerous because of its influences on children and adults alike. It's important to practice mindfulness when deciding what to sit down and watch because sometimes we allow what we're watching to take over our reality. Finally, as a call to action, please spread awareness of this issue by talking about it with your friends and family. I hope you learned something new and thank you for listening. God bless.